Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. Today's video is my October mini manga reviews. I have 4 for you guys this month. Each one is the first in a brand new series. Some of them you may have seen in my autumn manga video, and a couple of them are to do with other series that are already out. First up is Boarding School Juliet. This one is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. We have the island campus of Dahlia. We have 2 warring dormitories. We have the black doggies and we have the white cats. The black doggies are from the eastern nation and the white cats are from the western nation. They are constantly fighting and at each other's throats, but Romeo has fallen in love with Persia, who is the leader of the white cats. Romeo himself is the leader of the black doggies, you know, so no one's going to be particularly happy if they get together, but Romeo cannot fight his feelings any longer and he confesses to her and they start to date secretly. Obviously. I love the world. It's a little bit ridiculous at points, I'm not gonna lie, but it was hugely entertaining because of that fact. Romeo is absolutely hilarious. His thoughts, some of his lines, the crying. Don't get me wrong, he can be a badass like you would expect, but he is one with crybaby tendencies, and I look at him sometimes like, dude, come on, get it together. Interestingly, for someone who's supposed to be the leader of the Black Doggies, he gets very little respect, so I'm kind of curious about how he became the leader and why no one has tried to take the leadership from him yet, although I'm sure that's probably going to come at some point. Meanwhile, Persia is incredibly badass. She's very noble. She's kind of trying to prove herself at this school so she can prove herself to her father, because, you know, there's the whole boys are better than girls thing going on over in that dormitory, so she's trying to prove herself and prove that girls can be intelligent and smart and do all of this. I loved the art, I loved the character designs, I loved how some of Romeo's expressions were drawn. I will admit I wasn't expecting the relationship to spring up in the first volume. I kind of assumed it would be like a one-sided crush thing for a while and him kind of trying to get her attention or whatever, and then the relationship coming in a little bit later, but no, the relationship starts from the first volume. They're pretty much in a relationship from the first chapter after Romeo does this whole confession thing, but from Persia's side, she's obviously never seen him as anything more than an enemy, so she is still kind of getting to know him, and no doubt feelings will develop eventually, so I'm looking forward to seeing the romance build up a bit more and our relationship kind of grow and develop. There's a lot of action in this volume. There's definitely never a dull moment with all the fights and the hilarity. The supporting cast themselves are also completely brilliant. I feel like this is going to be such an easy series to binge read. I whizzed through the first volume in no time at all. For a first volume, I feel like it's a really good one. It sets everything up, shows you what the deal is, introduces the characters, but it doesn't spend too much time doing it. It tells you what you need to know, shows you what you need to know, gets it over pretty quickly. It's a pretty fast-paced series. I am super curious though to see how long the series is going to go for, and to see if it's going to follow Romeo and Juliet with the tragic ending. Next up is Fairy Tale Lightning Gods. This is the 3rd spin-off volume. We've had Sting and Rogue, we have had Gargiel, and now we are getting Loxus and the Rajin tribe. So because I don't want to spoil this for people who haven't read or watched Fairy Tale or aren't up to date, I'm going to tweak the synopsis a bit and just say that this is set after the Tartarus arc. Loxus and the Rajin tribe decide to check things out at Blue Pegasus. Unfortunately, Ichia is kidnapped, which is, you know, unfortunate for Blue Pegasus. I didn't really care, because he creeps me out. But it is up to Loxus and co to save the day, and alongside that there is also an ancient relic causing trouble that has to be dealt with too. I have been waiting for this for forever because I actually really like his character. I find his character really interesting and I've been looking forward to getting to see more of him. Loxus for some reason is just hilarious to me. I think it's because he's so grouchy and like surly, and he's so like just stands there like completely unimpressed the whole time. As for the Rajin tribe, as much as I love Bixlow and Evergreen, Freed is my favourite. He is my favourite member of the Rajin tribe, and I love how he fanboys over Loxus so much. So much. He's like a cross between a fanboy and Loxus's manager at points. So I loved getting to see more of Loxus as well as getting to see more of the Rajin tribe. We also get to see more of the Blue Pegasus crew, and it's always fun for me to see more about the other guilds, but alongside that we also get to meet a brand new guild and find out about them too. This volume is completely hilarious, genuinely. Poor little Loxus is trying to figure out some things about himself. He has some self-discovery to do. There is a lot that goes on in this volume. It is quite chunky. The whole Ichio being kidnapped thing isn't the only thing that goes on. Like I said, there is the whole arc with the ancient relics. So there's basically 2 story arcs in this volume. The each year one is kind of short and the other one is longer. I love the pace to this. There was plenty of action. We got to see a lot of the Rajin tribe as well as Loxus, and we got to see their relationship with Loxus, how they all met, how they ended up forming their team. We even got a flashback to see that, which I was super excited about. It does really well at using the chapters it has and the pages it has to tell the story and wrap it up and finish it nicely, and it fits really nicely in with the main story, and the art fits in too. It's definitely not out of place. 7 Deadly Sins, 7 Days, Volume 1. This is the first of 2 volumes. It is the prequel manga that is going to be telling the story of Barn and Elaine. So, you know, the whole thing where Barn was searching for the Fountain of Life and met Elaine, and how he became immortal. We're going to see all of that. I feel like this is a really appropriately timed volume considering what's going down in the main series, and that Elaine is being brought into it more. To be perfectly honest with you, this volume shows us some stuff that we have seen before in the main series in flashbacks, but it also expands upon and shows us some stuff that we haven't as well. We get to see more familiar faces than just Barn and Elaine, like we get to see King briefly. It was nice to see nice Helbram before he became an asshole. It does kind of hit you in the feels as you see everything that led up to King leaving and leaving Elaine in charge, and obviously you have the general sense of foreboding because if you've read the main series, you already know what happens. I liked getting to see and learn more about Elaine and baby Barn before he was immortal with his little book of ale stickers. He collects strange things. I'm really enjoying getting to see Barn and Elaine getting to know each other. Elaine obviously has a distrust of humans that you can't really blame her for, so it's interesting to see and get to know her a bit better and see that side of her and see how she changed because of Barn and how their relationship is growing and developing. I can't wait to see them bond and grow closer more in the next volume. I can't wait for things to heat up more next volume. I'm sure we're going to be seeing some of the stuff that we've already seen. Again, it will be like this volume, a mix of stuff we have seen, stuff we haven't, or expanding on stuff we've seen. I'm interested to see if there's more to what happened than what we already know. I'm interested to see if we're going to see some of what happened after what we know happens. That makes sense. The only thing that has me side-eyeing this volume a little bit is I'm kind of looking at it and I'm like, is it really necessary to have a 2-volume prequel manga when we know what happened already, mostly? I'm trying to cast my mind back to the main series and what we've seen happen in it already. I feel like the flashbacks we do get in the main series are sufficient. Like, yeah, we don't get the full depth of Barn and Elaine's relationship, but I think we get the general gist, so I'm kind of wondering why it was necessary for a prequel manga. I get the light novel version probably goes into their thoughts and feelings more, and I feel like the light novel version makes more sense, but I am kind of wondering how necessary this prequel manga is. Next up is Fairy Tail Battle Royale Volume 1. This is about Kuninaka. She has a bad time at school, she is bullied by everyone, and she gets offered a contract to grant her greatest wish. But the wish comes with strings attached, and she finds herself thrust down the rabbit hole into a strangely familiar world. It is a world from children's stories, one that we are all familiar with, but it comes with a dark and gruesome twist. In this wonderland, it is kill or be killed in a dark fairy tale fight for survival. I have been super intrigued by this one because it sounds like it's going to be awesome. I'm envisioning fairy tale characters fighting to the death and a darker take on fairy tale characters. The opening colour page got me all excited for the fairy tale-ness of what was going to happen and getting into the fairy tale characters killing each other. I sound like I'm bloodthirsty for fairy tale characters killing each other, but it's not like I've dreamed about seeing the 7 dwarves fighting to the death, you know? The anticipation was so real. I was like, yeah, I know we need to see why she takes the contract, but can we move it along, people? I want me some fairy tale characters fighting to the death. The volume is nicely paced. We see a bit of her everyday life. We see why she felt the need to take the contract. We see the contract appear, and then we see the world that she disappears into, and we even meet a couple of characters too. So the volume doesn't hang about, but it doesn't skip over anything or feel too rushed at the same time. I like the art, I like the character designs, but the gruesome and creepy old Alice and the trump card soldiers were so brilliantly drawn. I feel like the character designs, while they are nice, I feel like the gruesome or creepier aspects and versions of the characters stand out more. We're immediately introduced to some mystery and intrigue. Alice meets Noah, who is one of our other main characters. They have books on them, but only 1 or 2 pages have anything on them. The rest of them are blank. They gave me such a creepy vibe, I'm not gonna lie. What we have ascertained is that our characters are known as protagonists. They got to fill in the blank pages of the book. How? And we have ascertained, and what I am going to be enjoying a lot in this series, is the whole kill the main cast to return the story to normal aspect. Can't wait to dive into that. We've kind of seen hints of that, and we're kind of leading up to it. Kuninaka was a relatable main character to me on the book nerd front, and I found her love for the Alice in Wonderland story totally cute. I mean, we all have that one book that we love so much, and we reread it over and over and over, and could probably quote it in our sleep. I also found her quite hilarious, and I wasn't expecting her to be quite so funny. Like, you know, the whole "didn't you notice that Red Riding Hood was packing heat" comment literally had me snorting like a pig. I don't know why, but Noah really creeped me out from the beginning. Like, he seems oddly cute, and he seems like he's okay now that I've read the first volume, but for most of the first volume, he really creeped me out. And I was kind of waiting for him to suddenly go all, like, dark and stab her in the back or something, but he didn't do it. Honestly, I really enjoyed this first volume. I got completely engrossed in it. It had some aspects that I wasn't expecting, like I said, switching between the story world and the real world. It provides some answers as well as also giving you more questions. There is still some stuff that has to be figured out. There is still some mystery to it. Noah's real identity could prove interesting. We also have the implication that there are a lot of other protagonists out there thanks to the hashtag. Presumably we're going to get to meet some of them, but I'm not sure if we'll get to meet all of them. We did meet Red Riding Hood. This volume is very much setting everything up. It's filling in the background information and the circumstances. It's getting us acquainted with the world. It's given us some pieces. We still have to figure out others. But I am so excited for this series to get to see more of the characters, to get to see the fairy tale characters, to get to figure everything out. I'm excited for things to finally get started. And this first volume does really, really great at setting the stage but catching your attention at the same time, and it definitely leaves you wanting more. And this, I think, is going to be one of my favourite new series of the year. I'm just waiting for the killing to start. Yeah, I'm not bloodthirsty, I swear. I hope you guys enjoyed my mini manga reviews. Let me know down below if you've read any of these or if you're interested in reading them. I will link all of my social media down below. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe for similar content, and I will see you guys next video.